Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Balram Prasad and I am working with Microsoft as a senior software engineer. And today we are going to do a demo for incremental load data from one source to destination. And in this case, we are going to load incremental load from Azure SQL database to Azure Data Lake. And for this, we are going to use Azure Data Factory. And when we work into data related field, then this is a common task where you pull the data from source and push into destination. And there are different way to do this one. Either you can push all the data always to data destination, or you can push incremental. Pushing the all the data always to destination is a costly operation, because suppose you have 1 terabyte of data and daily you are pushing 1 terabyte of data, there is a cost associated with ingress egress, there is a time, there is chances of failure. So always we should find a way to find what got changed after last run and push only that data which got impacted from last run. This will be a cheaper operation in terms of there will be less ingress, there will be less egress, there will be less time taken by the pipeline. So let's see how we can achieve this scenario in Azure SQL, and destination is Azure Data Lake using Data Factory. And there are a couple of ways to do that one. One of the simple way is that if you have any watermarking columns available into your tables, right? If your table says timestamp and last modified kind of data, then you can use that timestamping column for watermarking purpose. And somewhere in the table you can put details like when this last run was there, and after that you can run that one, that okay, after this last run what got changed based on time stamping column, watermarking column, and then pull only that data what got changed and load into destination. There is another technology in the Azure SQL and Azure Server SQL Server related technology, that change data tracking. So this change the CDC, what does that it records all the change happen into this one. So from that, using that technology, we can also detect that what got changed from last version to this version, and then we can pull only the change data, only the incremental data. For this demo, we are going to use watermarking technology. And then because I wanted to have this demo end to end, that is why I'm going to create Azure SQL Data Lake Data Factory. Then we will create required tables, SPs, and then all this we will create linked service, we will create pipeline, we will run pipelines and see. Again, we will see that update records and then run pipeline to see if delta is coming or not. But if you want to go ahead in a particular section, you can fast forward and see that one. So let's start this demo. Right now I'm into my subscription, and we have a resource group where we will create resources. So let me go ahead and create the very first resource, which is Azure SQL database. We can find into Azure SQL, and I will go ahead and create this one with single database. Let me put the name of this database. I'm going to give some login details. It asks about the admin. So let me put okay. I want to go with general purpose server detail, and let's see. Okay, so we do not need zone redundant and geo redundant in this case. I do not want to enable the setting connectivity endpoint. Let's be public endpoint. Let this all the Azure services connect to this one. Let's use my current IP to add into firewall. So all this we can do, and then security and details, let it be that way, and then review and click. So till the time this is into progress, let's go ahead and create another resource, which is data lake. Data lake is general storage. We can enable that setting. So storage account, and I want to enable this gen 2. Okay, that is how it will be. Normal storage will be treated as data lake. Let's review this one. Let's create this one. It will be also going to create. Now let's go quickly and let's see that one, how to create ADF. Data Factory. Okay. For Git configuration, we will configure that one because we are not going to use right now Git or Azure DevOps. It is fine. So let's create this one. Let's create ADF also. So I just triggered all of the resources at once, so we can save some time. ADF has been created. SQL Server is in progress. Lake has been created. So let's see. Now our resources has been created. Let's go ahead and we launch the studio. Let's go quickly. And also let's connect to our SQL database with query editor. Let me add this one. Okay, now we can create the required table for this demo. Let me create one table called Softfish demo table, and this table will have a person ID, name, and last modified time. This is the date time value which will be used for when we will pull data. That based on this one we will pull. So let's go ahead and insert some of the records into this table, right? Now if we go and see that we have some of the records here. Now create another table which will be used for keeping the configurations where when the last time the pipeline was pulled, all the details, and we can have based on table name that and what the details was there. Let's put that one. Let's insert a basic very first time delta value. So if you see, our records have modified time 2017. I am just putting a base date in this watermark column as a 2010. So all the record right now present into the table will be pulled when we will run this first time. Now when we will run that one for updation, this watermark table, let's create one store proc. This is the store proc which we are writing. It will take last modified date time and table, and then it will update watermark table, and it will pass the updated date time with the table name details. So let's run. So if we refresh these tables, now we have two tables. One is main table, one is config table, and we have a store proc which will be used for calling this one. So let's go into our lake and let's create one container. I'm going to put container name data, and let's go to our ADF. So right now we are into our ADF. Let's create the link services, and let's start with Azure SQL database, and we can say soft page source SQL. And we can add manually details about fully qualified server details, or we can go with subscription also. Let's put the details. Let's select our database name. For security purpose, we should add using MSI, NSP and other things. For this demo, I'm using the details from SQL admin only. So let me put SQL admin details. For security, once again, we have to pull that from Azure keyword and other things. For demo purpose, I am putting and always encrypted. We must do, but for demo, I'm keeping that one later. Let's create this connection string. We have created one. Now let's create another, and it will be our data lake. And page demo destination lake, let's put that one. And we can use that managed identity and other things, so we can go ahead and add these details into our lake. Let's quickly add storage contributor. Let me put as a managed identity data factory v1. Let's see this one. It takes some time to take impacts. Let's select this subscriptions. Same here, we can give the fully qualified dfs.core on windows.net, or we can select that one if we have access on subscriptions. So we can go ahead and let's try to do this connection. This connection is successful, so let's create this one. Let's publish this connection. Once it is published, we can go into pipeline section, and we can also try to create data set first. Let's create the data set from here. And the first data set we want to create from our SQL. So Azure SQL database. But let's go ahead and create pipeline, and from pipeline we can go ahead and creating whatever required details are there. So let's create the pipeline and put the name as demo pipeline, right? And the first activity which we want to do, that it will be lookup activity, and this lookup activity we will do from our config table. Let's use that config table, and let me put the name as lookup SQL watermark. And here we have to provide the source data set. Because we do not have data set created, let's create this one, and it will be an Azure SQL. So let's create Azure SQL data set, and let's give the name for this config table, because this is the config table which we are going to do. So let's that watermark table, and we can select the source connection. We can select the table and go to OK. And here you can have multiple records, so we can use something from query itself, that we can have these details, right? That select the max watermark value as a watermark value from dbu.watermark, where table name in this one. If we go ahead and run these details into our query window, it will give the details for table 2010. For this table, whatever default entry we made, so it will give the details. So this is one lookup activity we will run. The another lookup activity which we will take from original table, that what is the last modified date for that original table, so that we will take that one. So let's put that name for this one, new watermark something, watermark value. And for this one also, we have to create a source data set, because we want to take from main table. So let's go ahead and create this main table. And let's keep this name as Software's demo table because that is the table name we want to leverage. And linked service, after this table name will be loaded. Let's take this table name, select OK. Same thing for this one also. There will be multiple columns, multiple last modified one, but we want to take the max one. That is why we have put these details. And if we preview data from here also, we should be able to see that last value, which is kind of 2070. We did that. So we should be able to get that one when we publish the data. 2017 data is coming, the max one. And these are the two lookup activity from two table. One is config. Now let's go ahead and do the copy activity, and copy activity will be done based on both success. If both success is be done, then we can do the copy activity. And let's put the data name from SQL to Lake. What is our source data set? Source data set, we have a table, source software demo table we want to connect. Here instead of table, we will also give the query because we want to put some conditions here, right? We do not want to pull everything. We want to pull the details, only whatever got changed. So here we are putting that one, that okay, select start from this table will last modified time. If you go ahead into our server, we can see that we created one table where we have last modified time, right? We have given the last modified time. We are leveraging this one, saying that hey, last modified time should be greater than config value time and less than the last modified time new lookup value which we got from this one. That should be there. And generally it will give that when output will happen, we generally reference like output dot first row because we have marked the first row only. So first row and old watermark value, because we have given that as a old watermark value, and in the new we have given no new watermark value, so we have given the first row of new watermark value. So this is query. Now once our sync section, if we go into sync section, and we have no data set right now defined for sync because we have to create this data set, and we can have delimited text as a data set. And let's put some name here, any name we can put that text, and this link value will be lake one. Now we have to put the details about the file path and another thing. I can browse that one. We created that this data, and let's put some folder name. Maybe we can put the software demo table folder. If it is not there, we can create, or it will create automatically. We will see if it fails. So if we go into Lake right now and in the storage browser, in that blob container, right now we have container, but we do not have data. Let's create one directory over where we want to put this one. Okay. So we can go ahead, and this is the table file name we will give as a as a parameterized value. So let's see how we can give the parameterized value, because multiple run I do not want to override. I just want to have a new file altogether. So if we edit, open from here, now it place, if we go, we can add the dynamic content, and if we click on the expression and function on this one, we can go and see the details like these are the functions we can use for this purpose. Let's see this trigger time one, maybe we can leverage this one. And if you put these details, one that okay, test file dot something is going to come. So let's keep this one as it is. Has leading spaces which cause treated in the system. Leading spaces, where is the leading spaces? Okay, so let's remove this one, and it is going to put all the details hopefully. Now let's go back to our demo pipeline. Now copy activity has done. Now let's run that one store proc activity where we want to update this one once success is done, right? So update watermark, right? And for this one, we have to use the link services SQL, and let's this store block will be load. We can put this value, and then let's import whatever store block parameters are there. And in this one value, we can put that, okay, go ahead and update the value for table name. And last modified date is that when we are getting that for activity, right? We can put like this details that, okay, from one new watermark value activity out to first row. So whatever data got changed, that is what we are trying to do. Now let's publish all this. And let's try to test one more time. Let's go ahead and view pipeline run. Two activity has been succeeded. And if you see what we got the output, so we got output from this one that, okay, new run is from main table in 2017. First row, that new watermark value. For old one config table, let's see what is the config table one. And config table is old watermark value is 2010, which is expected. Let's see the third activity. This is copy lake is also succeeded, and we will go, and our watermark is also succeeded. Now let's go ahead and see into our lake that what details came, right? This is the file has been created here, and let's see that this is block value. So I can go ahead and download this one. Let me download. If we put that, we miss that putting that CSV over there, then it will be easy, but we got book. So this is that column, whatever 5 records was there, it came into with this name. And naming convention, as we put that last run, it was coming test one. So that is how it put it here. And if we go into our, now let's run this one. What is the watermark value from config table? New watermark value is 2071, because now we have pulled the data till this one. Now we can go ahead and try to see if we can update some data, and then see if something is coming or not, right? So maybe we can update some of the data, right? We can update some of the data for, in case of, if we want to put some data that 2020, right? So let's put some more data for 6 and 7 in 2020. So let me run this two more query with this new data one. Let's put two. Okay, and it is running. So it is because we have changed the table name. Let me use that original table name, and let me run this. So now two records has been there. Now it was 5 before. Let me run two more, and we can see that two more is came. And my bad, I have put the 2012 12, that should not be there. So let me update. I have put the 2012. Sorry, my bad. So let me update this columns, like update this one. Set last modified equals to instead of 2020, I wanted to do where, and it was ID, person ID, where person ID equals to 6, and then I will do for 7. So let me run this one, and same thing for 7. Let's put some different date altogether. Okay, and if we go and run this query, let's see, new data 1 2 is 2020, right? So now let's go and let's run one more time this pipeline. And expectation is there will be new file together, because I have put the naming convention also, and it will have only 2 records of the data, right? So let's go and run. Okay, so this also got succeeded. Now let's go and refresh it here. we are seeing the different one, right? The second one. If we download this one and if we see, let's this open this file one more time and open with notepad. Okay, this is the data which is coming into right now into these two files, right? Second file. If we go into our SQL, right, and if we see our config table now, config table value, previously it was 20 watermark value, now it will be updated to 220. So that is how we are importing or pulling data which is only incremental load and doing into can do into Azure Data Factory for SQL related source and destination is the data lake. I hope you will like the concept and you can implement this concept in any data store with supports like this one. We will do the CDC change data technology one into next demo. So hopefully you will like this one. Thank you.